everybody. My name is Jade Daniels. I am a co-founder of Ladies of Paradise and Lady J's. We're a female-owned creative agency. Lady J's is our product. It's a smokable. They're joints. They come in little joint packs, and I started that journey before I ever became a mom, and so transitioning into that, I launched Lady J's right before I got pregnant. And so literally right before I got pregnant. And so, that journey, I think that I really help a lot of people, and I get the most, questions and, advice, from just strangers, from everybody related to, at the time, this is 2 years ago, my son is almost 2. But smoking during pregnancy was like a big thing that I was curious about, obviously concerned about, and really just wanted to know more information about. And there wasn't a lot of information out there. And so for me, Casey honestly was like a big help for me, and like the community was, because when you start Googling stuff like that, everything that comes out says, or everything that's out there in the public says, don't do it. It's bad. Your kid's going to come out looking like this or that, and, going to have health problems and all of these things. And it was just a lot of the same regurgitated information over and over again that I just didn't really believe, and I didn't think was valid. And so for me, I just wanted to reach out to people who actually did it, to people who I know are Canna Moms, and so that was the most beneficial thing to me. I joined forums. I researched what people's babies looked like who told me that they smoked weed when they're pregnant, and obviously another side effect, or not side effect, but just something that happens with cannabis use is, paranoia and stuff like that, and being pregnant on top of smoking. And then I would get high, and would think about, oh my gosh, what if my baby comes out, looking, I don't know, what if something's wrong with him? But at the time, it's so helpful for me. I didn't have a really bad morning sickness problem or anything like that, but for me, it was migraines. My migraines were terrible. Cannabis helped me with my migraines tremendously. And so that was my medicine. And so I asked so many people, what did you do? And so many moms were like, yes, we did it. I cut down. I mean, I was smoking so much weed before I got pregnant. And then once I did get pregnant, for the first 2 weeks, I stopped completely. And because I was like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know, and I just wanted to do more research. And so I did. And like I said, I found, just the same repetitive kind of, things talked about over and over again, and started reaching out and finding out that it was just such a normal thing. And to this day, I get, especially with, the promotion of this event particularly, like I have so many messages in my DMs about, hey, I'm pregnant. And, obviously there's that picture of me with a belly holding a joint, and it was made to be a talked about photo. Like, we wanted it to be something that people talked about. And so that's one of the things that I relate to a lot with talking about cannabis and motherhood, is just going through the pregnancy thing, because I'm such a new mom. But beyond that, I'm from Texas originally, and I was just in Texas a week ago, and seeing, the progress of legalization, medical reasons for cannabis, and everything that's happening on a national level, people using cannabis for PTSD, people using cannabis for all sorts of different things. Even going back to Texas and seeing my friends there, everybody is like, Jade, you're doing amazing. Thank you for, paving the way and opening our eyes to, just what cannabis can do for people. And the first time that I ever really saw the in your face, what cannabis does as a medicine was when we moved to Oregon in 2015. I opened up dispensaries with my ex, and we had this cancer patient come in, and at a time, like, they were not walking, they were in a wheelchair, they couldn't eat. And so us, like, once we opened up our dispensary, like, that, they started eating, they started, basically within 3 months, they came in on a walker, came in and just, like, were just not in a wheelchair anymore. It totally helped them. And it was a medicine. It was a very blatant medicine. And that opened my eyes so much. And coming from a place like Texas, people had no idea what a dispensary looked like. People had no idea, people were fascinated by it. And so that really inspired me to dive into showing people what that looks like. Because, me personally, like, this is like a vulnerable, like, personal thing. Like, I care a lot about, like, what people think about me and, my perception, like, to the public and stuff like that. And so, I kind of hid that for a while when we moved to Oregon. I didn't really post, like, pictures in our weed farm or pictures in our dispensary. And when I kind of started to do that, like, everyone just opened up and they were like, show us more, and they wanted to be more, more in the know, and they wanted to know more about it. They wanted to hear the benefits. They wanted to see the weed on the shelves, like, all of these things. And so that's what really opened up to me to switching over my business, Ladies of Paradise, because it didn't start as a cannabis business. It started as a jewelry and accessory business. And I totally rebranded with my partner, Harley, to focus on women in cannabis as a blog. And then, that escalated into events and obviously now our products and stuff like that. But just as somebody who's really concerned with public perception and people who, ending the stigma is, like, something that a lot of people talk about. And for me, I just wanted it to be such a natural thing. Like, I didn't want, the whole end the stigma and stuff. Like, I don't know, it was a little bit taboo to me. And like, while I obviously want to end the stigma, like, I felt like a bit about, like, talking about ending the stigma so much was, like, not really how I wanted to approach it. I just kind of wanted to show people how it was different and how we're normal and how what we're doing is just like any other parent does. And so now my son is 2 years old he'll be 2 this summer. And, I just, I come from a family of high anxiety. My family, my mom, my aunts, rely on, pills and stuff like that to calm anxiety. And that's not something that I ever really wanted to do. I wanted to take, like, a holistic approach and use alternative medicine and cannabis, rather than Klonopin or clonazepam or whatever it is. And that's something that I am really an advocate for, especially being a mom. There are a lot of stresses, there's a lot of anxiety in being a mom, a lot of worrying. And I'm just feel very, very strongly about using herbal medicine to supplement that rather than using pills. And so that's something that I really just want to, be known for in this industry is, a lot of people too use, wine, or you just use all these other things. And I just have such a strong relationship with cannabis. And, like, when I'm feeling, I'm also in a place too where I'm a co-parent. Like, me and my ex or the father of my child are no longer together. And that's, like, at a mother of a 21-month-old baby, a lot to go through. And so rather than resorting to, any of those pills or anything, to rely on, other approaches is something that I really feel strongly about. And and, you know, the co-parenting thing too, along with, you know, being in the cannabis industry and being a cannabis consuming mom, you know, I have a benefit in being in Oregon where it's legal. But there are a lot of other moms, like I have a friend in Texas who, you know, that's one of the reasons that she doesn't have 50-50%, you know, 50-50 custody of her kid, is because she admitted to a judge that she used cannabis when she was pregnant. And right there and then, they were like, no, like, that's bad. You're a bad mom, you know? And so she, right then in that moment, you know, lost a big majority of her parenting time because she admitted to it. And so, you know, living in a place like Oregon is really nice to have, you know, that I have a medical card, you know, living in a place where it's accepted and that a lot of the community around me consumes cannabis or grows cannabis. And so I definitely am a little bit jaded in the fact that, like, that's something that I'm, you know, is a benefit to me. But I feel for moms in other situations where it's not that easy and it's not as, you know, it's frowned upon. And so I'm just really looking forward to national legalization, obviously, just like the rest of us, and just really breaking down, as cliche as it sounds, like breaking down those stigmas and just normalizing mothers who use cannabis. And another thing I read too, also recently, was like, you know, moms who, like, just because I'm a mom who uses cannabis, like, doesn't mean that I'm high all the time, you know? And like, that's like a thing too. It's like, I smoke so much less cannabis now that I have a kid. Because also my kid is at an age right now where everything that he sees me doing, he does. Like yesterday or 2 days ago, we were on an airplane and he saw me take an antibacterial wipe, you know, that they give you when you walk onto a plane, and we get into our seat. And my son just like starts wiping, I start wiping down, you know, the whole seats and our whole surrounding area. And then the next thing I see, my son has a napkin in his hand and my son's just wiping down everything, you know, just like mom does. And so, you know, while normalizing cannabis use as an adult is something that I stand for, I also, you know, am protective of my son just, you know, seeing that mom smoking, and, you know, and so that's a whole thing too. And so, yeah, so I'm careful about my usage around my son. I like to use it when I'm in times of need, when I'm stressed out. At the end of the day, like, a common ritual for me is when I put my son to bed, I just like go and hit my bong. But yeah, overall, like, I am just so proud to be even like a speaker on this stage to talk about this, because I feel really strongly about it, and I just want to help pave the way for moms who are in the same boat as me and going through the same thing as me, or, you know, just trying to not feel bad about smoking weed and being a mom. And moms drink wine, moms take shots of tequila, and nobody gives two shits. And so I'm just here to tell everybody that it's all good. And, you know, we got kids in the back, and, you know, we're just all moms doing our best. And I'm really grateful for the chance to get to speak my part and to let other moms know that we're all in this together. So thank you guys. I don't even know what my time is. I've just kind of been rambling. I hope you appreciated it. And thank you, Tokeativity, for having me, because I think this is a very important conversation.